A lawsuit claims former Aurora Police Chief Vanessa Wilson used her power as chief to have her partner's ex-girlfriend arrested. That ex is now suing former Chief Wilson, the city of Aurora, and Adams County.
9 News reporter Kelly Rinke read through the 67-page complaint. And Kelly, the lawsuit says the charges in the case were eventually dismissed.
Yeah, guys, charges against the ex-girlfriend Kristen Nichols were dropped last June, so the lawsuit was filed less than a year later. Nichols was the ex-girlfriend of Robin Niceta, who was dating Chief Vanessa Wilson at the time. This new lawsuit claims Wilson, who was police chief, at one point bragged to other officers about getting Niceta's ex arrested. It was August 27, 2021. Robin Niceta was dating then police chief Vanessa Wilson. A federal lawsuit says Niceta was transported to the hospital, claiming someone came into her house and hit her head. She lost consciousness. The lawsuit says at the hospital, officers called Chief Wilson to tell her what happened. The document claims Wilson then met with the police officers, and she expressed concerns about Niceta's ex, Kristen Nichols, calling her dangerous. It says Wilson called the assistant district attorney and used her position as police chief to influence the assistant DA to expedite an arrest. Officers arrested Nichols, and nearly a year later, the charges were dropped. Nichols says she was charged based on Niceta claiming she recognized Nichols' voice inside the house and statements from her 5-year-old daughter. A majority of the complaint does not focus on this incident, though. It talks about a really messy relationship between Nichols and Niceta, several allegations of domestic violence and custody battles. Just a few days ago, a judge ordered Niceta to pay an Aurora City Councilwoman $3 million after making an unfounded child sex abuse report. That councilwoman, Danielle Durinsky, sued Niceta, claiming she had retaliated against her for being critical of Vanessa Wilson on a talk radio show.
All these personal relationships, and it's gotten so toxic.
Yeah, so we will see how this all plays out in court.
All right, thank you, Kelly. Deputies in Jefferson County are still looking for a man they say shot into businesses in Arvada, injuring a woman who was inside. It happened yesterday morning. The gunshots came from a mobile home park across 53rd Avenue in Sheridan. Investigators say Diego Sanchez was shooting at a specific car, but the bullets went across the intersection and into the strip mall, hitting the woman and another person's car. There is now a warrant for Sanchez's arrest on investigation of attempted murder, assault, and illegal possession of a gun. The sheriff's office says he may be driving a gold Chevy Cavalier with a red hood or blue Oldsmobile Omega. They're asking anyone who has seen him to call 911.
Prosecutors want to add more charges for the alleged Club Q shooter. This week they filed a request to tack on 5 more counts tied to another person who was at the club the night that 5 people were killed. If a judge agrees, the suspect would then be facing a total of 323 charges. The suspect's attorneys say they will not be ready for the preliminary hearing next month. They said there are almost 5,000 pages of discovery already. Adding more without moving the hearing date would violate the suspect's right to due process. Businesses in Colorado Springs are putting up tributes to the 5 people killed in that shooting back in November. People across the country painted stars to show support for families of the victims and survivors. Now, more than 600 of those stars are hung up around the Springs.
It's great to have more and more of these. People need to know that the city is still grieving and that we all care about each other, no matter who you are.
The stars have QR codes that can connect people with mental health resources. The group that gathered them is trying to set up an art therapy program for people impacted by the shooting.
The woman hit by a train while stuck in a police car is suing the 3 officers who left her there. The crash happened back in December near Fort Lupton. Officers pulled over Urena Rios for a road rage incident. One officer from Platteville parked on the railroad tracks. Then the officers put Rios in the back seat. A freight train hit the patrol car with Rios inside. Rios is now suing the 3 officers involved in her arrest, Pablo Vasquez of Platteville Police and Jordan Stinky of Fort Lupton. They're also facing criminal charges. A 3rd officer, Ryan Tomachek, is also named in the suit.
There were fewer homicides in Denver last year than the year prior, and police say they've noticed that a lot of the killings started as relatively minor arguments. Denver had 88 homicides in 2022, down from 96 in 2021. Police say in 25 cases last year, the homicides started with just a fight that escalated. The detectives who handle these cases are worried about so many relatively minor conflicts that could have ended peacefully and instead led to a death.
Something that was relatively minor and could have been de-escalated or people could have walked away from, it turns into a murder and has a tremendous impact on multiple families, multiple people's lives.
DPD says it solved 78% of reported homicides last year, up from a 72% solve rate in 2021. The national average is around 50%.
2 more hit and runs are under investigation in the metro area tonight, and one was deadly. This morning, Aurora police were called to help a pedestrian who was hit near Peoria Street between East Montview Boulevard and 17th Avenue. Officers say the driver took off before they arrived. The victim died at the hospital. Police say they found the suspect's car close by, but they haven't been able to identify the driver yet.
For the first time in more than a month, Denver says no new migrants arrived in the city overnight. Since December 9th, more than 4,200 people have come to Denver from the U.S.-Mexico border. At one point last month, the city was taking in 100 to 200 people a night. The new arrivals started to slow down this month, and this is the first time the city has reported 0 daily arrivals since it started keeping track. There are now just 48 people left in the last city-run emergency shelter. The city is hoping to close it and rely on shelters run by outside groups instead. But the plans to close down that last rec center shelter are on hold right now because of the cold coming in this weekend.
A new report looking at Denver's behavioral health system found obstacles on both ends. Getting help is difficult, and providers are struggling to meet demand. Surveys found 41% of people in Denver who sought help in the past year hadn't found any type of service yet. 41%. Denver's health department says it's a huge amount, but it's still shocking to them, too.
While we can say, yes, that 59% of people did maybe get those services, 41% is still a huge amount. We found that it can take folks a long time to get services, and then even once they finally connect with someone, it can take even longer for them to actually get that initial appointment.
And the report found providers are also struggling to hire, train, and keep staff. The health department says it has $20 million dedicated to behavioral health services from this year's city budget. And they told us they hope to use this report to properly distribute those funds.
So here's one possible way to watch for wildfires. Put a camera high up in the sky and look around for smoke. Several Colorado cities are already doing that. Our Jennifer Meckles shows us how legislators are talking about making it a statewide program.
High above cities like Aspen, Vail, and Boulder, cameras scan the sky.
I mean, every large fire starts as a small fire.
Through partnerships with California-based Pano AI, these locations now have 360-degree cameras on mountaintops, searching for signs of smoke and fire and monitored by artificial intelligence.
The ability to go get visibility to it, know exactly what location is, and then be able to try and understand, is that a high rate of spread fire? Do I need to call in aerial attack? Do I need to send in more engines?
Happy to bring before you for your consideration Senate Bill 23032.
State lawmakers are fascinated by this technology and want to pilot a statewide wildfire camera program.
It can detect just a wisp of smoke, and it's that type of situation in remote areas that could save forests and homes and properties and lives.
Sponsored by a Democrat and a Republican.
You know, it can provide an amazing kind of safety net and coverage to detect very early, very quickly, you know, plumes of smoke and be able to contact people on the ground to verify and move forward. It's like, there's something here. And
this bill would give $2 million to the Department of Safety's Center of Excellence for Advanced Technology Aerial Firefighting. How the money is spent will be an ongoing discussion, but the director says that $2 million could cover about 40 fixed cameras, 6 mobile ones, the technology, and some staff to manage the equipment.
Definitely something that we're interested in. It's getting better and better. I think the language specifically calling it a pilot project is appropriate in this sense.
So this bill passed unanimously out of committee today. If it is ultimately successful, that pilot would start in 2024 and run for 4 years. That California company, by the way, Pano AI, they're not guaranteed a contract in this deal, but they do have infrastructure in several cities already. And they told me, Kyle, they've not only seen smoke and try to catch fires early, they've also used this with prevention measures. They worked with Aspen last year, monitoring conditions on prescribed burns, trying to keep those safe and not getting out of control.
And as long as the technology can discern fog from smoke, which I think was a problem at one point, it seems promising.
It's growing, and every time they use it, it's getting smarter and smarter. Today, they compared it to like a puppy that has to grow into a dog. The lawmakers, not the company, let me be clear, who used that analogy, but it's kind of fascinating.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Jenny.
The state health department says about half of the homes in Colorado have high radon levels, an odorous gas that can, of course, cause lung cancer. This month, a number of agencies are providing free radon test kits for homeowners. Jefferson County is distributing 800 kits to residents. Radon is the #1 cause for lung cancer for non-smokers. Experts say because of our proximity to the Rocky Mountains, homeowners have a strong chance of finding it in their homes.
We deal with it every day. We meet folks that have succumbed to lung cancer from radon. If you're a smoker, your chances of getting lung cancer, living in a home with high elevated radon levels is just increasing your chances of getting lung cancer tenfold. So it's just really important out here.
All Colorado Radon is offering free test kits for homeowners through the end of the month. CDPHE will also give test kits away tomorrow at the Denver Animal Shelter from 7 a.m. till 10:30.
I saw him in person where my son had lumps on his head and his neck was broken.
5 former police officers in Memphis are facing charges for a man's brutal death.
A cake shop owner refused to make a cake for a transgender woman. Today, an appeals court said, nope, that's illegal.